Hey, I'm Latoria, and thanks for joining me for today's show. So if there's one thing we can all agree on, it's that we are living in crazy times. But what if I told you there's one person who stands to change your community and even positively shake the nation, and that person is you? I'm here with documentarian and host Kimberly. We're talking about the meaning of everyday advocacy, highlighting women who are currently setting fire to the rain, and about where you fit into the entire picture. Kim, thanks for joining me.
Latoria, thanks for having me.
It's exciting to be here because a little background for the folks at home. Earlier this year, we went out for like coffee or lunch. We got into the topic of your documentary, and here we are now. So give the folks at home an idea of what the documentary is, what it's about.
Well, I have to tell you, while we are filming a documentary, Everyday Advocacy is a series.
Oh, great.
So
okay.
Not the documentary, but it's a great 10-part series that seeks to inspire parents. I mean, we're living in crazy times,
right,
as you mentioned, but we should not be overwhelmed by these crazy times. There are things that we can do in our communities that will benefit not only our families, but the families in our neighborhood, our communities, our states. And Everyday Advocacy sets out to inspire, motivate, and really craft careful, informative ways that everybody can be an advocate that makes a difference, especially in times like today.
I appreciate that. And what were some things that you learned about just we as people, as Americans, along the way of filming or researching for the series?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about this series, the way we decided to produce it, is that they are 1-minute segments.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Made for online.
Made for online. We wanted it to be something easy to share. That could be blended with other content that's advocacy related. But so here's the format. It's very simple. We have 10 different topics. They're based off of a national survey that the C.S. Mott Foundation hosts every other year, which are parents' top concerns for their children.
This is good, yeah.
And so our frame is 15 seconds of what everyday advocacy is and looks like and who's an everyday advocate. The next section is about the problem, and we use data to share out why something is an issue, and I'll talk about what those topics are. The next part of the segment is an unsung hero. So we did a lot of research finding everyday individuals in their communities who have aimed to do something about each one of these 10 challenges. And then the last part of the segment is what you can do.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Super simple, super shareable.
And keeping it on the what you can do, let's help our guests at home understand where do we start in identifying how we can have an impact on our community? Because it's not just up to our mayor or our county council or the president, but we really are the driving force. So where's a good place to start in making a change in our communities?
The first place to start, which is they're simultaneous firsts, but what are you passionate about? Like, what's the problem that's really getting at you, right? What's the one thing that concerns you, keeps you up at night? And so we'll talk about what some of those topics are, or might be those things that really concern parents that they're, again, not just seeing in the world, but seeing maybe in their own homes or in their neighborhoods and communities. The second thing that's really important that everybody can do is register to vote. Oh my gosh, I don't want to sound cliche, but particularly right now, being registered to vote is really important. And then we add on to that. And in every segment, we ask people to vote. We ask them to interview the candidates that are running for their local office, because that's what you can wrap your arms around.
Yes.
You can't save this whole country right now, but you can have a real impact in your community and your local election. So that's where we ask people to start. Register to vote, interview the candidates, ask them about that one topic you are interested in, care most about, that's keeping you up at night. What are they going to do about it? And then the third is to turn out and actually vote for the candidate who says they're going to do something about the issue you care deeply about. The next thing we have in every segment is, here's a national organization that is taking the lead and working on this issue you care about. Make sure you connect with them, you add your voice to their advocacy, and it might also connect you with a very local organization doing something very similar.
You said two key things that are very important to me. One was knowing the local politicians and leader in community, and then of course the importance of voting. I think one thing we see nowadays is folks are just tired. People are very, very tired, and so I want to build that momentum, get folks excited again. So, in knowing your local leadership, why is that so important? What's the why?
We can't be tired. This is no time to be tired. This is no time to sit on the sidelines. This is no time to expect someone else to do it. They may not care about the same things you do. And I think the point we're really trying to get across is it doesn't have to be that hard. You don't have to run to be president to make change in this country, right? But you can vote and you can select leaders that are going to attend to the issues in your own community that affect your family and your neighborhood. And that is very doable, and it doesn't take a lot of time.
And I can appreciate that, because you can't just trust anybody. One of the things that bothered me was when Hillary Clinton was running for president, she went on the Breakfast Club and she said she carried hot sauce in her bag, which was popular lyric in a Beyonce song. And now everybody, I felt like Hillary Clinton was like the trend. She was literally trending. And I mean, it's cool. Don't come at me, Beehive. But it's cool if Hillary carries hot sauce in her bag. But that's not enough as to how and whether or not she can run the country. So I think that's a very important point. It's like, enjoy all the social things that she does, but what is she gonna do when she's president? How will that affect you, your children, generations to come? So I think that's great. And speaking to the voting part, I always say, like, if you don't vote, someone else will. And I think we saw that in this past election. Folks got a little too comfortable. So I like the idea that you said that people have to stay motivated. They have to stay involved. With the time that we have, I did want to get started with the conversation of the record number of women who ran for president, who are running for president, I should say, in the 2020 election. They're calling it the year of the woman. Do you think society is ready for a woman president? Actually, I'm going to have you hold your thought. I'm getting the cue. We're going to be talking more about everyday advocacy, your involvement, chatting with Kim right after this.
Can't be afraid, no. I gotta say what I mean and I won't say, yeah. Gotta do it, mom.
Neuroblastoma, immunotherapy,
lymphoblastic,
dexamethasone, ALL or acute lymphoblastic leukemia,
methotrexate, doxorubicin, vincristine.
Do the kids in your grade know these words?
I don't know if any of them know these words. I don't think.
Why do you?
Because I survived cancer.
Well, welcome back. We're talking everyday advocacy with Kim Perry. So, Kim, before the break, we were starting a very important topic, just the history that's being made in this 2020 election with more women than ever before running for office. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that first and foremost. Do we have a society that's ready to put less attention on gender identity and actually think about what these women can do as leaders?
Yeah, female leadership is necessary. It's coming, so hold on tight.
I love that.
Yeah. I think on any one given day, it could feel like it's really far away, but it's closer than we think, and I honestly do believe it's necessary. One of the things when we were filming and doing the research for and filming Everyday Advocacy, we realized that some people may interview candidates that are running for local office and find that none of the candidates running pledge to do something about the issue they care about. And in that instance, we say, then you run for office yourself.
Yes.
Challenges take new leaders sometimes with new ideas, and perhaps maybe even ones that haven't been proven yet, right?
Yeah.
That's what true innovation is trying to solve some of these age-old problems with more realistic solutions. And sometimes people have those ideas and solutions right in their own pockets, but don't realize that they might be the messengers and the leaders to carry it. So we do want people to be open to that, absolutely.
I can
Yeah.
appreciate that, and I'm making a mental note to circle back around to identifying the issue and understanding that you may be the solution, especially as women, because we have seen in society, which is the whole point of the show. I think women have been put in a particular position. We're told kind of how we should influence or challenge when we step outside of what the expectation is. But like you said, things are changing, and I think it is important to stay tuned and also identify how we're a part of solutions in our community and just culture at large. I wanted to, oh, you had a thought.
Yeah, I was just going to note, this election is important because there are 5, excuse me, for president.
Yeah, 6 for starters.
Thank you. Okay, didn't want to leave anybody out. It's so important because they are so vastly different. It's hard to just the gender lens that the media put on the 2016 election almost doesn't apply to this one.
I agree.
Because the women are so different. They are not buying in to gender norms in any way. And the sort of unfair nature questioning that the media typically has done.
You're not seeing it as much.
Because it doesn't apply, it doesn't fit, right? It doesn't feel right. And so that's what we need. That is what is going to get us to a strong female leader in this country. And I think Hillary running in 2016 inspired 1,500 women across the country to stand up and say, I can do this too. And so this election of these 6 women running is going to inspire even more at the local level. And it'll be all those people watching Everyday Advocacy. It'll be, average moms and dads and grandmoms at home who say, I can't wait for the next leader to do this. Maybe it's me. And they'll go for it.
The everyday folks making the change. That is a good transition into the women leading the movement. There were so many more women I want to share with the folks at home. 2 that stood out to me were Judge Kiana Lillard. She is a judge in Michigan who orders her courtroom. I challenge you all to Google her, as well as a good friend of mine, Opal Tamati. She has led the way in human rights, as well as a co-founder of the Black Lives Matter movement. And just watching her grow up in Arizona and seeing where she is now, it starts as what you're saying. There was something personal to her that led her to being a part of the change. But there's a group that everybody's talking about. They are known as the Squad. It's our 4 ladies, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Ayanna Presley. And they made history in their own. You had 2 of the ladies both beating out 10-year incumbents, taking the representation role in their own states. You had 2 of the ladies there who were, Muslim, both naturalized African rep in Ilhan Omar. So just great first time of everything, first of their kind, so to speak. And not letting that get in the way of anything that they stood to do or wanted to see. I think AOC was a bartender and waitress. So I think it speaks, all that to say.
But she was an everyday advocate.
She was an everyday advocate. That's my point.
All of them were.
Yes.
All of them were.
It's like you don't have to have a particular education. You don't have to come from a particular background. You don't even have to run for president, but it's identifying that issue and getting started. What do you think this tells, I think most importantly, the women out there about where they fit in leadership and what they can do, but even more, just people everyday people in general.
Yeah, it can be done. It can be done. If we support each other, I think there's a couple things. If you feel like you're not the one, look around your community who is. There's likely somebody else there who fits the bill, who you could support, so supporting individuals and communities coming together to do that work. I think it's possible.
It's possible. I appreciate that.
It will be the change we need in the most timely fashion. Again, this is not any time in history to sit on the sidelines. We're in the center of something really important.
Yes.
That is going to make a difference for our kids and the next generation.
Yes.
And we have an obligation to this.
To make it happen.
To see it through, to be persistent, and to not sit down.
We appreciate you.
Until we have the change we want to see.
Thank you so much. It starts with us and it starts with you. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you for joining us, Kim. We will see you all next time right here on Something to Talk About.
I gotta say what I mean and I won't say.